Welcome back, everyone. They say one is the loneliest number, and in a state with a small population like Iowa, that may be especially true. In tonight's Prime Focus, we introduce you to the only public official in the entire state who's a Democrat. Alex Presha brings us this report from the Hawkeye State.
No such thing as a bad day in the woods.
Up in that tree, that man with the bow and arrow, wearing camouflage, is the best hope for Democrats in Iowa.
A lot of deer.
41-year-old Rob Sand is the state's auditor and the only Democrat in Iowa to hold statewide office, and an avid bow hunter.
I want to talk to everybody. I want every perspective in on the decisions that we make in the auditor's office. That, to me, is public service, and I think that's how we're supposed to do it, even if it isn't very popular right now.
His bumper says Rob Sand finds bucks, and after a narrow win in 2018, he believes he got the job he was born to do.
I just tell people who I am and make sure that they know what I believe. I grew up in a small town. My faith is really important to me, and so I talk about it. I like to hunt, I like to fish, I own guns. I do think that those are things that make me a little bit easier to place in Iowa for Iowans.
With the caucuses just around the corner, Iowa is known for setting the tone for presidential elections.
How's it going, Ames?
From a junior senator from Illinois,
Iowa, do we love it?
to a mega real estate tycoon. With such a dynamic swing of political ideology, it's hard to put Iowa in a box.
The reality is there were a lot of people who voted for both of them. And to me, I think, again, I would go to listening. We're gonna have to listen to those people and figure out what was it that made you vote for Barack Obama and then vote for Donald Trump.
The Iowa caucus is in chaos this morning.
After a tumultuous 2020 caucus where it took days to tally the votes, calls grew for Iowa to lose their first-in-the-nation status.
Thank you, South Carolina.
The Democratic National Committee announced they were pulling out of the Iowa caucuses for the first time in 50 years.
It puts black voters at the front of the process in South Carolina,
Setting their sights on more voters in South Carolina that propelled Biden to victory last election. The change is sending shockwaves through the Hawkeye State.
It seems like right now it's kind of a lonely time to be a Democrat in Iowa.
The Iowa electorate has become more polarized and not to the benefit of the Democrats. Would a Democratic presidential candidate come spend money in Iowa at this point? I'm not sure whether or not that's a wise investment.
Once a moderate voice between the two left-leaning coasts, Iowa, like so many in the Midwest, has turned decidedly Republican. While a number of states in the region have gone from moderate to MAGA, Iowa had the largest swing of voters with a total of 31 counties that flipped from voting for Obama in 2012 to Trump in 2016.
Democrats have a lot of rebuilding to do here in Iowa. And the first thing to do is they've got to sit down and figure out what their message is that will go beyond people who live in cities and have college degrees. Republicans and Republican-leaning folks are not willing at this point to pay attention to Democrats because they just they don't think the Democrats have anything to offer them.
Republicans plan on cashing in on this opportunity created by the Democrats.
I think a lot of that has to do with the national party not wanting to be involved with Iowa, which I think is a mistake for them. But that's going to help us keep this state red for a long, long time.
Joe Mitchell, once the youngest representative in the Iowa State House, today heads Run Gen Z, a farm team of sorts for young Republicans here in Iowa and across the country.
There's not one, size fits all. You can't win majorities with that mindset. And, ultimately in Iowa, that's what we've been able to do. That's why there's huge majorities both in the House and the Senate. For that very reason.
How many of you are coming to hear me at a town hall for the first time?
Republican candidates have barnstormed the state for months, hoping to get that precious Iowan vote. In 2020, the collapse of Iowa Democrats included losing a Senate seat, 2 congressional seats, and a half dozen seats in the state legislature. Rita Hart fell victim, losing her bid for Congress by just 6 votes. Making it one of the closest House races in modern history.
This is a low point for Democrats, but there's plenty of optimism here. We don't expect to turn this on a dime, but I think that Iowa Democrats are definitely engaged and very committed to getting a more balanced government in place in Iowa.
Today, Rita heads the Democratic Party in Iowa. And in her first year in office, she is determined to rebuild the Hawkeye Democrats. Rita's strategy, back to basics.
One of the things that I'm a big believer in is in our grassroots efforts to be able to accomplish what county parties need to do, which is get out the Democratic vote.
Last year, Rob Sand crisscrossed Iowa talking to voters in all 99 counties, spreading the message that there is a future for Democrats here in Iowa. But that message has also made him a target for Republicans. Last year, Rob found himself in the crosshairs of Governor Kim Reynolds. She and the Republican supermajority in the Iowa state legislature effectively tied the hands of their only political opponent, restricting auditors' access to certain information from state agencies while investigating waste, fraud, and abuse.
We're supposed to be focused on public service. We're supposed to be focused on doing the right thing and not on doing the Democratic or the Republican thing.
And as Republicans in Iowa gear up to decide the next Republican candidate for president, this lone Democrat has his focus on a different opponent.
The Iowa Democratic Party is like a sports team with a win-loss record that is not great. But if you actually look at the wins and the losses, there have been a lot of really close losses.
Our thanks to Alex Presha.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.